Hey my friends, here's your heads up to this podcast, the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. It's all about why is it so important for you to make your day, to make your week, to make your, well, you fill in the blank, a success, a total success. And how can we make it so simple? Now, if that's of interest to you, that you really want to, for me to share my little thoughts on how you make your day, how you make your week, your month, your year, then have a listen.
Warning. 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 You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
What I'm about to share with you is, I think, so important. And it will set your day your week, your month, your year for success. Interested? I know I was. Now, there's a great big generalization that successful people do simple things and they do them regularly. And it's that regularity that makes their day special. I was reading a book a little while ago, a guy called Mason Curry, really interesting guy, called Daily Rituals. How great minds make time, find inspiration, and get to work. And he studied 100 plus people, successful people that is, and found out what were their rituals, their morning rituals as it were, their daily rituals. And it's so interesting that generalization tends to be true because these successful people did tend to do a lot of the same type of things in their own way, but there was a theme. There really was a theme. And I know some people love to say, oh, I don't have a set way of doing things. I'm just, I'm a maverick. I'm just out there, Paul. Well, actually don't say Paul because they don't speak to me. But the thing is, they do have a system. They just don't know they have a system because they do things similarly, the same way when they're getting success. I know they do because that's how they get success. Even if in their being random in their ideas, they have a system of being random, which is sort of counterintuitive, but that's what happens. So whether you're the maverick or whether you're someone who follows the rules, you can adapt these rituals, these morning practices, these daily practices to create success in everything you do. Yeah, and I'm going to repeat this a couple of times. I know shit happens occasionally, but the more you practice these things that work, the less it does. And if it does happen, you get over it quickly. It doesn't become a dilemma. It doesn't become an overwhelming issue or problem that you have to get therapy for. It's just okay. So that's why I think it's important to get your success. Because I'm here to with this community of you and me, to support you in your success, to support you in getting your dreams, your goals. And this is something I believe so strongly about that I can't say 100% that I do it every time. Maybe I'm not that successful because of it, but I know I try very hard to get certain areas of my life in a way that just works. And you see, I was interested about this a little while ago, well, some while ago now. I've been working on a project, and it's a project that will guarantee your success. And it's loosely based about these rituals, but it's a project that will say guaranteed to get your success because it leads you and guides you through your day, your morning, your evening to get success. But that's ongoing. So it's not here yet. So what I wanted to do was give you a little heads up of the type of things that we can do right now. You'll have to wait for the project. So, what is a ritual? For me, anyway, in this type of context. And for me, it's a sequence of good practices that sets you up for success. Simple as that. A sequence of good practices that sets you up for success. Now, we all want one of those, don't we? Or some of them. Because if you notice, when you start your day, your week, your month, and it goes so well, what did you do? Let's have a good look at it. Let's go back and think of a time when you did really well. No, let's go the other way around first. Think of a time when things didn't go quite so well. Starting from the very first thing in the morning, maybe. What happened? How did you get out of bed? How did you wake up? Did you wake up on time? Did you wake up bright and early, looking forward to the day? Or did you stumble out of bed? Had to find those. Where are my clothes? Oh, no, they're not ironed. Oh, I thought I'd washed that. Oh, no, my shoes are dirty. All those type of things. And how did it start? And then, did you sit down quietly and think and plan your morning? Or was it, I haven't even got time for a cup of coffee. There's a bloody traffic jam. Or there's so many people there. Or I miss my subway, my tube. The tube is like a subway in England. Just so I let you know. Just to show that I'm a man of the world. But, what else happened? Did you seem to bump into the wrong type of people? Did the telephone ring at the wrong time? Did you suddenly find all the paperwork that you wanted was not quite as you wanted? It's all this stuff. And how was your state? Were you overwhelmed? Were you anxious? Were you maybe fearful? What were you? Maybe just go back through one of those days now in your mind and just recall it. Don't live it, just recall it. Just so you know what a day feels like when it's a bit topsy-turvy and doesn't quite, it's not quite as successful as you wanted it to be. Maybe you could put that to not just getting up in the morning, but maybe it was going to a meeting that didn't didn't quite work as well as you wanted. What was happening just before that? How organized were you? What state were you in? What was your emotional state? What was your thoughts? What was the voice in your head? Was it saying, yeah, we got this. Wow, I'm awesome. Boom. Or was it, oh no, what's going to happen next? And then thinking of, how bad can this get? We've talked about that before. Now, there's the other side of the coin. Let's flip that over. I know, like me, you've had some successful days. Now, when did that start? Maybe it started the day before. I don't know. Maybe it started the day before. Some people do, and we'll talk about that shortly. But also, how did you wake up in the morning? I tend to find I set my alarm, and guess what? I wake up before the alarm, and I'm ready to go. My clothes are there because, guess what? They were prepared. I had time. Normally, in my job, I've got a little bit more time in the mornings, so I do maybe a little bit of stretching. I have a little bit of journaling. I sit down with my cup of coffee and think what it's going to be like. I make sure if I'm seeing a client, the room is ready. The paperwork's already there from the day before. Everything's ready. My alarm on my phone is telling me, yeah, you've got half an hour still, Paul. And I'm going, well, I've got time. I can sit and think and get about the state I want to be in. I'll ask myself the empowering questions that I ask that just puts me in the right state. And then things just seem to flow. And then, I don't know, this serendipity, this coincidences, oh, you've just got lucky again. Something happens that makes that day even better. Or someone says something, or I meet somebody else that just makes this project, if I'm doing a project or I'm doing some thinking or seeing a client, just makes the results even better. Better than I could have imagined. And I've already imagined how good they could be. And I just don't know enough to really know how well they could go. But I do my best. And then guess what? I get surprised how well it goes. And, what is my state through all of that? Well, I'm normally very much in control. I'm curious about good things. And I'm looking forward to things because I know I'm in control and I feel in control. And even if I do get side-blinded, if that's the word, I just seem to deal with it. No problem. So there you go. So tell me, let's look at a few things that we could do. Simple things, because in simplicity there's genius. those simple things that successful people do. Now, I'm also talking about you, because I want you to remember those good times, the times when things just went so smoothly, and it was a joy. And when you finished the day, you looked back at it and you went, hey, we're awesome. That was brilliant. What would it be like to do that again? Well, maybe don't ask that question, but it would be a good idea, I think. So, what could we do to really claim that success early and be in control of our emotions and what's happening? So, we said things like things happen. So it's not always going to work, but we're going to cover that. We're going to be in our top form. So I want you to think of how we can control and input or select the rituals that work for us so we do them more often. Now, you could, if you wanted to, wait for my project to come to completion, to fruition, and guaranteed to get your results. But I think we don't need to wait that long. You can have that when it comes, because I don't know when it's going to come, because I'm still working on that. But here's some things I've been thinking about. So, sometimes it's good to get Jenny Journal out. We love our Jenny Journal. And just make some notes of a good day. Just relive it again and notice with a curious eye of like that meta view, looking down, detached, unemotional, what happened. Just notice the process of the things that you did well. And then, journal it. And the thing is, then you might think, well, you see, I used to do journaling a lot. And I'm going to talk about that in the next podcast, I think, about the different types of things I used to do and it's like a hero's journey I'll be talking about. But I want you to think, what would be the best type of journaling? Because I used to do one thing that really helped me to start off with. And I know my elder son did it as well. And he found it great to get him into a system of thinking. And now we've both evolved it into different ways. But it was all set out by Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is a great personal development man. He gets himself in trouble occasionally. He is at this moment in time, but sometimes we say things. But anyway, he is great. And he had a program of how to get things done. And part of it was called OPA, O-P-A. And what you did every morning before you started work, and also maybe on a Sunday, projecting your week, he would write down the things that he wanted to do. But the thing about OPA was, it was outcome. So what did you want to achieve? Not what you wanted to do. What did you want to achieve? And then P was purpose. The why. We've talked about this before. Because if you don't know why you want to do it, the motivation's not there. And then A, action. And it was only then, after understanding the outcome that you wanted, the purpose, you took action. Now, if you think about that, they're the things we've been talking about on other podcasts. This achievable outcome, setting up and understanding your purpose, your why, and then take those 5 keys to success, which start with know your outcome and take massive intuitive action. All there. So we've got those threads. So again, as I say, in a lot of things, nothing is new. It's just a matter of bringing different systems into to create different processes. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. For a long time, I would do that, setting my week out. But just thinking about it, isn't that the good thing to do anyway? Maybe quietly on a Sunday, just sit down and plan what you want to do in the week, what you want to achieve, what are your outcomes, and also know why. And sometimes you find that actually they're not important, they're just urgent. And to be honest, if they're not important, they may not be the right things to do. They just feel the right things to do. You see some people who are so busy doing urgent stuff, but they're not doing the important things. They're not spending 20% of their time getting 80% of the results. Because if you can focus on that, man, you've got plenty of time to spare to enjoy life, but you're also getting your results and you're not running around like a little headless chicken. You're actually focused. Oh, we've talked about focus before. And this is all about focus, because it's focusing on what you want in the week. Now, I can say before that, if you were to sit down and quietly plan your week, and then in the mornings, look what you need to do, you want to do in that day, what are the outcomes you want to achieve in that day, then you need focus for that too. You also need to set your state, your emotional state, to focus. And each morning you need to think about what state you need to be for each part of that day. So it's all there. We all do these things, but what a simple thing to do. And, I'm going to guess that's the stuff we don't do when things go a bit ape, and they go a little bit awry. So let's have a little think together. What are the most simple things I can do? It doesn't take too long. You may have to get up 10 minutes early. You may have to spend half an hour on maybe a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, just thinking about your day ahead. But there's other things you could do. And I notice there's one or two rituals that successful people do, simple things that will solidify this. It's like the end of a day. Just closing your diary by noticing what you haven't done in the day that needed to be done, if there was anything needed to be done, if you hadn't succeeded in those outcomes, was it still important? So you schedule it for the following day. And when you schedule it, you make sure you get it done. And when you notice that you've cleared all the items of the day, then you can close your diary. And then the rest of the day is your own to do something else, because we need that. But we don't need balance, because balance to me seems, it's this or that, or, you get total balance, you're bloody dead. But you get a bit more harmony, because there are times when you have to work a longer day. There are times when you don't. But it's because you've got it scheduled now, and you know where you are, and you know your outcomes. So just closing the end of a day so you can walk away from your desk, your office, your whatever. You now know that what you're going to do tomorrow has all been set out. Now, the thing about that is also, how many of you have a to-do list? I hate to-do lists. I hate them with a vengeance. And one of the early FMQs was about my hate for to-do lists. But a lot of people do them, and that's fine if it's your bag. But some people will have a to-do list of 10, 20, 30 items long. And to be honest, that's overwhelm. You can't see the wood for the trees, and you certainly can't see the important things. Now, one of the simplest things you can do is, and this was, I don't know who did it, whether it was Dale Carnegie wrote about it, or anyway, someone did. There was a guy who he's back in America, and he went to this massive steel plant thing. But he went to the CEO, somehow he got in front of him and said, I'm going to give you a process, a thing to do. And I'm not going to ask you for any money for it. But what I will ask for you is to do it for a little while. And if it's a benefit to you, will you pay me what it's worth? And this is a long time ago, early 1900s, I think. Anyway, what was this magic formula? And it was as simple as this: writing down 3 things, maybe 5 things to start off with. 5 things, the most important things for that day. And then putting them in priority. So you knew, and he knew, the top 3. Now, he was to work on the first one, and then the second one. And when the second one's done, the third one. And he could stop after the third one if he wanted to. And he just left it like that. Went away. I think it was about a couple of months later, he got a check for, it was $20,000, which is big anyway. But back then, it was huge. It really was. Now, you can take that a little bit further now. I still think writing down those 3 things in the morning, or even the night before, the 3 things you know that are important, that they're going to get 80% of the return for 20% of the investment, that you write those 3 things down, but then also that you block them out in your diary. Take it one more step. Block it out. So there will be times when you need to check email. There will be times when you might want to make phone calls to people. These are by the side, unless it's the most important phone call of your life. But you block out time. So that's what you do. And you block out time and you close your diary. And when you come in the morning, bam, the diary's there. You know what you're going to do. You've had your ritual of getting up, feeling good, having maybe a stretch, maybe going to the gym, maybe doing whatever. So you're in the right frame of mind. You know your outcome. You know your purpose. And you know exactly what action you're taking because it's blocked out for you now. And you hit it. And the old Cluffy guarantee comes in. You do that. Your day's going to go brilliantly. Yeah, someone will come and sideblind you. There's another one for you, if that's the one. And yeah, we have to make adjustments for that. Because sometimes, as I say, it happens. But most of the time, you can accommodate it. Because you're now in a frame of mind that things just get better. They work. And you start to learn new ways of solving those problems. So, think about it. What else could you do to get that focus? You know, we talk about meditation, guided visualizations, sometimes just, some morning hypnosis. I'm not going to say it too many times, but, we've got the free hypnosis. paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Become part of the community Anyway, you can do some stretching. You could do all sorts of things. But just prepare. What's your best preparation that will allow you to get that day? But just remember, the most important thing is the three most important things that you know that when you get them will make your day. You know the outcome you want. You know the purpose. And you know those 5 keys to success. Knowing your outcome, taking massive intuitive action, being aware of how close you are to the finish, your success, where are you? So you can be flexible. Because if something comes up, you have to adapt. Adapt so you can get back on track. And then using that psychology and physiology of excellence, the acting as if. Now we can go into lots of other stuff, but this is just a simple way. Simple way, and I'll add to it. But let's get some real basics. Real basics. In simplicity, there is genius. And because of that, it becomes second nature. And when you make it, you start making these habits. Because in practice doesn't make perfect. We said that before. Practice makes permanent. Practice makes better. And you form then natural habits. So then you don't have to think about it because you automatically sit down. You close your diary at the end of the day knowing that you've scheduled what's happening the following day. You know exactly what's happening. You know that there's success because you'll start to visualize it. Awesome, eh? Well, absolutely awesome. So, that's why I think it's important. Important for you to have the successes you need. Put it all together. And then you can have, as I always say, have more fun than you can stand in any context. Well, there you go. That's me. I've had my little chat all about rituals to make my day. The old Clint Eastwood of making your day. So, okay, punk, do you feel lucky? Yeah, because you can have all the luck, all the serendipity, all the coincidences, because you're going to create them. Because that's what your life will be like when you start doing these simple things. So have a thing, maybe have a re-listen, make some notes in Jenny Journal of the type of things that would just work for you, and then experiment with them. My way is definitely not the only way. I've cribbed it, I've borrowed it, I've pinched these things. I'm not saying they're mine, but let's just put it together, because that's what this sharing world is about. It's that integrated field of learning. You know something, you have an idea, you share it. You keep the property in your head, but someone else has got it too. And if they find a better way and they share it back with you, hey, you've both won, because you've now got 2 alternatives, then 3, then 4. And you'll never, ever know how far these ripples of learning and change will go in the world. But you just know they will. And that world becomes a better place to live. And this little community that you and I are creating, the Personal Development Unplugged community, will grow stronger and be such a nice, well, start to create that world we all want to live in. Sharing and compassionate. Wouldn't that be nice? So with that be nice, or wouldn't that be nice, thought, I'm going to leave you to plan my day, have more fun than you can stand, and enjoy every heartbeat. Until next time, it's Paul. And before you go, I just want to say a couple of things. If you really enjoyed this podcast, do share it. I know your time is valuable, and it takes such a long time to share these things. It doesn't, does it? But if you could just share it by word of mouth, maybe an email, there's share buttons on various appliances. Just, if you could, pay it forward. I'd love you to pay it forward to all your friends, but I know that's unrealistic. But pay it forward to your friends maybe, or people you feel it could help. Because that's you making a difference with me. You can subscribe to this, always makes this podcast stronger. And if you would, you can leave a review. You can subscribe in iTunes. I've told you before, I think, about Castbox, another app. I think it's a brilliant app as well, because you can search through the new or the feed, of which then you can find various different episodes. I think it's a brilliant little thing you could do. But either of those would be great. iTunes or both. Why not do both? Don't subscribe through both, but just, put that review on both. That would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. And also just remember, please, that all that free hypnosis is there for you. Become part of this personal development unplugged community. This thing that we're creating. They're all free. Just go to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. You'll become a certified member. And those emails go nowhere other than for me to send you notices of new hypnosis tracks. There'll be maybe, well, I know there will, not maybe, there'll be some gifts that aren't available through this podcast. There'll be some I'll get the word out, some surprise gifts. And also, as I said before, the introductory period of the pricing on Paul Clough Online, the programs there, they're going up, unfortunately. But because you're a certified member, I will be giving discounts, massive discounts, to enable you to try them. And they're all going to have money back guarantees anyway, so you can try them with, got nothing to lose. Other things like fear, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, all those things. So they're all going to be there for you. Have a look, see what you like, try them. And lastly, have more fun than you can stand again. Enjoy. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.